I'm so excited about today's video because we are going to be doing a beautiful floral arrangement, fresh cut of course, but we are going to use a regular container. And what I mean by that is this container has a drain hole in the bottom of it, and typically I use it for potted plants. But today we are going to use it for a fresh cut arrangement, and it's very simple to do. You know, it's going to give you like that old world feel that I totally love, more of like a cottagecore feel, if you will. So we're going to just jump right in and do this beautiful cottagecore fresh flower arrangement. And I have a beautiful assortment of flowers that we're going to be using. So the first thing that we're going to do is, in order to make sure that our water stays up underneath, you can tackle this a few different ways. I've showed you all in the past where I go in and I will put a vessel on the inside, meaning a little smaller vase or a little smaller cup. Because our steel container that we're going to be using here is kind of odd shaped, I could take a bunch of different smaller containers and pack that on the inside. But what we're going to use is we're just going to go ahead and use a bag. It's going to fit very nicely, and I like the quality of it. It's very thick, so we don't need all of this bag at first. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, start to work with the bag, turn it inside out, if you will, and then we'll get some water on the inside of it. And if we look at the length of it, it stretches to where it's almost the same size as our vessel here. So that's going to be very important. So we're just going to fit it on the inside here. And we're going to start pouring water in. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do right out the gate is make sure that I don't have any leakage, which I don't feel anything. So we are going to pour this back in here because we're going to have to put our preservatives inside of the water now that we know we have no holes inside of our bag here. So I just have a little bit of flower food. We're just going to take this, and typically it calls for 4 cups of water or 1 quart to 1 package. Just look at your directions on the back. It should tell you exactly what to do. So I like to put this in, and then I go ahead and I stir the flower food up. And you just want to let that dissolve a bit. Now, when I brought my flowers home, I came in, I gave everything a fresh cut. I've shown that in videos before, how I like to process any of my cut flower arrangements. Now, if you're doing a floral arrangement on the fly, meaning that your good girlfriends or your good guy friends are on their way over and you don't have time to let your flower arrangements take up that extra hydration, by all means, just go ahead and just prepare your flower arrangement like you typically or normally would do. So now we're going to go ahead. It's not fully dissolved yet. We have a little bit at the bottom. No worries about that, because what we're going to do, because I poured the 4 cups in here, we're going to have to add more water to it. And so I'll pour it out right till it gets to the end. But then once I fill up my vessel here with a little bit more water, it is going to assist in dissolving the rest of the crystals that we have. So we have our excess water, and so we're just going to pour it in there until our bag is pretty much almost full, if you will. So now our bag takes the shape of the container, which is going to be very important. Now we're just going to cut the bag off. Okay, so now if I pull this bag out, this is what we're looking like. This is how much of a lip we have. All right, now. So now I'm just going to trim a little bit more, and I'm going to get as close as I can and kind of just follow the pattern. Okay, over top, this is what we look like. So we still have a little bit of room to where if we want to just tuck this in a bit, we can. We could stand to come down and cut a little bit more on the sides here. So just to go in just slightly and just barely just cut off that excess plastic. All right, so now we're going to go in and start to put the flowers in. And I'm super duper excited about just being able to do some arrangements. We'll cut our baby's breath up a little bit more because baby's breath, I love to work with it and it stretches. It really, really stretches. I love to work with your baby's breath. So right here, I've cut and you can see how I've already multiplied the amount of baby's breath that I had to work with. And even like this piece right here, which I am going to take this piece and cut it because it's a bend in there. I feel like sometimes it's easier to get more flowers than you actually need for flower arrangements. you a close-up of what everything looks like. This is the front. You can totally see where we have that beautiful cottagecore feel going on. On the side, it's just beautiful as well. So it's like 360 blooms just all the way around this arrangement, just giving just nothing but feels and vibes. Absolutely love it. I mean, look at that. That is just gorgeous. And I'm totally obsessed with the colorway. Check in on the geranium seedlings. And we do have different varieties in here, so you can see where some of our geraniums are already up, like this one right here. And we have others where they have not yet cracked the seed pod. But what we'll do to go ahead and help them out a little bit, I'll give a little spray to them here, just for the seeds that haven't necessarily just cracked open yet. Now we'll check in on the Viola seedlings. So we set those right here. And your Viola seedlings are going to want to germinate in darkness. Pull the tape off. We have some that have germinated. Can you see them? Or starting to, rather. So they're starting to. They're just not there yet. So for example, can you see right here? So we got some germination here, some start of germination here. We'll tape them back up. We will leave our humidity dome on for just a little bit longer. And if I feel like we're getting to the point where we're kind of like, we need to provide a little bit of air because it's getting too moist. And what I'll do is I'll just go in and just provide a little bit of air. That's one of the beauty with the trays that I use to start my seeds. I have the capability to give air to control any type of moisture issue. But for right now, we are going to go ahead and close this back up. And so that way our germination chamber can get us to the point where we need to be at.